people that you ever did see. Younger than springtime or a newborn baby. And the show is gonna surely make you shout. Yes, ma'am. We're talking about 5 questions with James and Jam. Yeah, that's it. Uh-huh. Hello, everyone. It's James and Jam here. 5 questions with James and Jam. My name is John Andrew Morrison, known as Jam, and this magnificent being is...
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Oh, otherwise known as...
James Jackson Jr.
James Jackson Jr. And today, can you believe who is on the screen with us? The magnificent, the wonderful, the scintillating, the glorious Mr. Ryan Reynolds!
So nice to be here with you guys.
Oh my gosh. You're doing okay? You're doing well? You're staying well? Okay.
Yeah, it's my days are quite, simple. I'm writing during the day. My kids all go to school, so get them off to school in the morning. And I pick them up. That's why I have to leave in half an hour, because I have to go pick them up.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in then, Ryan. So we ask 5 questions and we play a game and then we send everyone off with a wish. So our first question for you, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, is you've been acting since you were a teenager, right? Like, I think Hillside at 15. How did this all start for you? How did acting become the thing that you...
Where does the acting bug?
Yeah.
Well, I would assume, having seen your work, it's just literally flowing from the soles of your feet up through your heart and mind and popping out for all of us to enjoy. But I wouldn't say that I have the same trajectory. I started performing just to get out of the house. I mean, I was kind of, when I was a kid, I was kind of driven by spite, I would say. A television show came to town called Hillside, and they were asking every single high school all across the Lower Mainland in British Columbia, Canada, where I grew up, to pick their 5 best drama students and send them to us. And of course, I didn't get picked. So I said, screw that. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to show them, because the auditions weren't pages. It was just improv. And I already knew how to improv. That's what I was doing all the time. So I went down and I got it. And mostly I was excited about the fact that I would get to go to Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, way on the East Coast from where I lived on the West Coast. And I would get to spend, 3 or 4 months there shooting a television show. So I did. That's what I did. And it was really just because I was so excited to leave.
That must have been amazing to be doing something like that at 15. But then it set you off on this path, which is kind of...
It did.
Amazing.
It did. Well, what was, I think, most, in retrospect, I think what was most interesting about it was that there was no fame associated with it. I got to work on a television show. I was in no way, shape, or form considered notable or famous or in any way like that. So I got to kind of still have a youth, I mean, and by the way, this was when I was 15. I started when I was 13. So I was still just I was little, and it was a great experience. And then I went home and I went back to school and I ended up, my first job after that wasn't more showbiz. It was, I drove a forklift. I worked in a grocery store midnight to 8 a.m. stocking shelves. And and I was doing improv. Yeah.
Like when you come home, having now done the TV show, what was that like at home? How'd the family take that? Were your siblings?
Supportive? I stopped. Well, at that point, I stopped associating with commoners. So no.
I've never heard of these
who
people.
I think I am.
yeah. Come on. No, the show didn't air in Canada, so nobody gave a crap. It was just I would basically go do this. So when I came home, I was sharing with I had 3 older brothers. I was told them a little bit about my experience. They showed me a little bit about how to beat the shit out of a kid, and they chased me around and made my life hell like they normally did. Everything was just the same as it always was, And then I moved out of the house when I was 16. I moved in with my brother. We moved out, and it was I was kind of off to the races after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So second question, Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, sir.
I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, and I was like surprisingly moved by it. I mean, like the first couple episodes, like I teared up a little bit, and I'm not a football fan, and I was like, get that goal! Like all of a sudden, I became a football fan, which was so. The thing that I found really kind of wonderful about it is like you invested in possibility and potential for that team and also that town. So I guess why this team? Why did you want to do this? What was the journey? Like all of the, and then you just recently came back from Wales. And also, as part of that whole question, do the rival teams still boo you when you show up at away games?
Yes, they do. Yes, this is a sport for for thick skin. So why Wrexham? It's a great question. Rob and I, my partner in this endeavor, wanted to purchase a lower league football club. And we looked at a bunch of them, and really Wrexham just ticked all the boxes. I mean, it's all about storytelling. So we're filtering all of this through the prism of storytelling, and it was just this town, the community, this particular club being the third oldest football club on earth that plays in the oldest international stadium on earth. I thought there was something really interesting about rival clubs, hooliganism. We're touching on all these kinds of really intense topics around football, and we have so much left to do. I mean, there's so many stories to tell. There's so much more to do. But there was such an interesting story there, about a phoenix kind of rising from the ashes, and this tradition. I mean, there are so many people whose ashes have been spread across the field at the racecourse ground right there. I mean, there's a lot of that a place is steeped in tradition. I sort of look at it as a church, for this community. So, documenting it all was kind of essential. I love documentaries on any subject, and some of the best ones I've seen have been about sports and about football. And you don't have to be a football fan to fall in love with it all. It's all about context. I mean, anything can be interesting when you get context and understand its history and where it's coming from, and both its problematic history and its sort of where it's going or where it wants to go, where its highest ideal is as well. So I thought there's just a lot of story to tell there, and it's been a great privilege in my life to be part of it.
I mean, they must feel so chuffed to have you like there and like shining a light on them. It's really wonderful. The episode where you did the visit, I mean, I loved it, and I just finished watching the hooliganism episode, and that poor girl not getting the job. I'm spoiling. I'm doing
no, it's fine. It's totally fine.
I want to know how it feels to get booed by the rival team.
Well, you wouldn't know, would you, Jane? Neither of you two would know.
Things I don't know about commoners and about getting.
No.
I don't understand how that works. What is it's just your presence alone.
Well, I mean, we were. It was an away game. It was the other team we were playing. So we showed up in the stadium, and they were, they called us every, see you next Tuesday, every kind of name you can imagine. Oh yeah, no. It's a big, but it's a part of how it works. And these are. I would never fault any one of them. I would clink a glass with them at a bar any day of the week, and that's just sort of how it kind of works. I don't. If that's the kind of stuff that's gonna get under my skin, then I probably shouldn't be in any business, let alone that one.
That's true.
So, it was fine. And most of the time when I'm being, heckled, I'm agreeing with whatever it is that they're saying to a certain degree. So, it doesn't really work on me.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Can I ask the next
one?
one?
Absolutely.
Question number 3.
Yeah. Well,
when did you know that you wanted to be the boss? And what I mean by that, we are actors, we're creative folks, and it's hard for us to move into sometimes a position of power. Really.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you know that you wanted to be? When I say the boss, I mean like the leader on a set, to start your own production company, to get into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? How did you do that?
Well,
it terrifies me in so many ways.
Yeah, well, I can see it is. It's not easy, and I can see why it would be terrifying. But it also, I think, it depends on what your definition of boss is. I just don't think that anything. Nobody's ever made anything good without enthusiasm. And I for one, I've always kind of in my 20s, I was an angry guy who I was confused. So I looked for a lot of answers in different places. And one of the places that I found a lot of respite and growth for me, I'm not saying for everyone else, but was conflict resolution, was understanding how to de-escalate and resolve conflict with people. And I know this is a weird stretch, but this is actually kind of what interested me in running a company, owning a football club, owning a telecom company, a gin company, all these different things, because I realized we sometimes confuse leadership with aggression. and that's not, it's nothing. I have nothing to do with aggression when it comes to the way I work. I mean, my favorite expression is I don't know, and it's one of the best ways to lead and grow organizations is through, a genuine curiosity. And instead of seeking to win, you have to sort of sometimes disarm that little voice in our brain, which is like, crush, kill, win at all costs. And instead replace that win mechanism with learning. Like, how do I learn in this moment instead of try to win or defeat someone or leave someone in my rearview mirror? Instead, like, how do I know it's a little kind of esoteric, but it's it's sort of changed how I looked at things and why I got involved with things. And,
has it helped you on the other side of it when you go back into being in front of the camera as the actor? Has being the leader behind the scenes really changed how you do things in front of the camera?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I love performing. I probably, love growing organizations as much as I do love performing. I look at it all a lot differently now. It's I sort of, the stuff I do, at least I'll be in movies that I'm not producing or have nothing to do with my company. And that's different. That's, I'm on someone else's dime or coattails or however you want to look at it. But the movies that I do, the Deadpool films, Free Guy, The Adam Project, a movie called Imaginary Friends, these are all movies that I have some authorship on and so there's stories I really want to tell. There's stories that I really want to be a part of. I get to work with people I love, people I've kind of come up with. I just finished a movie that's out recently called Spirited with Octavia Spencer, who I've worked with, and I worked with 16 years ago, and Will Ferrell, who's a guy that I've always admired and loved, and I've always gotten such a kick out of him. And
I was just watching it this morning, and it's hysterical. It's hysterical.
I'm not the singer and dancer you guys are, but I definitely had a lot of fun doing it.
I was going to ask, like, why a musical, a movie musical? Like, is there a Broadway star somewhere in you that no one knows about?
Absolutely not. Listen, I'll say this, it's not false to me that I have enormous respect and obscene admiration for what you guys do. I mean, look, I know we're gonna, at the end of this, we're gonna talk a bit about my wish is that everyone on Earth sees A Strange Loop. I mean, and sees what you guys do in A Strange Loop, because that's not of this world. So I wouldn't say that if there was a Broadway star, it was completely destroyed when I saw you guys up there, because I was like, I can't do this. This is not something that is in my makeup, but I love it. I can appreciate it still, and I can always being able to witness Broadway to me is just as fun and fine as being on Broadway, I suppose.
I mean, we do need an audience, and an enthusiastic one. Do it with enthusiasm is always wonderful, and I love that. A very wise friend of mine once said, "I don't know is the best place to start any journey," and I've always loved that. Yeah. It's good.
It leaves possibility open.
Yeah. And I guess I feel bad sometimes when I don't know something. I want to try to get the answers. It actually makes me feel bad, and I guess I need to work on that.
But as you get older, though, you lose that. At least I did. I've lost a bit of that shame mechanism. Like, I mean, I'm 46 years old. I'd like to think that I've read a few books. I understand some things, but I'll still find in a moment of think, what does that word mean? I don't know what that means, and that's always like a bit of you have to jump over a little bit of an ego speed bump to kind of get there, but I still try to at least do it, because instead of just nodding along like I understand it and then running home and looking it up, I'll try to do that. So
I also find like saying I don't know in a conversation just opens up a conversation. Like,
You're very good at raising your hand.
I'm always like, I don't know what that, like, someone will say something and I don't know what that is, and then it gives them an opportunity to actually like tell me something, and so but it is hard to get over that. Like,
do either of you guys have kids?
No.
Okay, so that's
I don't know.
Well, they're little I don't know factories.
Yeah.
They're just always, everything is,
why?
So, yeah, exactly.
Well,
it forces you to think outside the box, though. Why? You're like, what? Well, I don't know why it rains. Let me think about that for a second, and then you try to make up some bullshit answer and realize that you just steered them in the exact wrong direction, and you got to go back and fix it.
But you steered them in a direction.
Yeah. It rains. It rains. I say it to my daughter all the time. It rains because God is mad at you.
Oh!
Now run along.
Now run along.
No. Night. Flip the switch.
Oh gosh. So we're gonna flip a question because you just brought this up, and so the question that I had was, what is the most surprising thing about being a father? Right, like you're a Hollywood superstar. You're doing all these things, but at the end of the day, you're a dad to people. Like, what is the most surprising thing about that?
Oh man, I think. Oh crap!
Did
I'm
you
going
see
to go
that
pretty.
coming?
No, but I'm actually just thinking. I'm thinking of the most macro kind of answer to that. And it's that I think I never kind of feared my own mortality in any way. But then when I think I have 3 daughters and I have another child on the way, we don't find out the sex before they're born. But even after, I still respect their privacy and don't ask.
Right.
But I think I fear death a bit more, to be totally honest, when I have kids, not because I'm scared to die. I'm scared to not witness them.
Right.
That's the thing I think that I struggle with sometimes when I'm like, in my darkest moment, I think, I hope I get to witness as much as possible before I finally, close my eyes to this mortal dumb show. I want to see it all, So I think that's probably the thing that I wasn't expecting the most.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to be so maudlin.
No.
Please,
it's the
please
truth.
be maudlin.
It's the truth. To ask a question that does seem vain to ask a question about a strange loop, but we have one.
Yes, please.
What did you get out of a strange loop? Like, what you enjoyed it, which we're always amazed by. You liked what we just did? You liked that show?
Yeah.
So,
man.
what did you like? What are you still processing? Because we know that there's a lot in there to unpack for folks.
But also, it's like you're almost the antithesis of Usher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how,
the first 2 fans we ever had at the show, not fans, but the first 2 people we ever met that we got their opinion were these 2 older Jewish women. They were sisters. One was like 80 something, and the sister was 70 something. And they stopped us literally after the very first performance off Broadway. This was in 2019. And they stopped the 2 of us in the lobby and they were like, wait, whoa. That was our family.
And we were like,
no, girl, that had nothing to do with you. So we're always amazed where people see something
and how
that
they connect
identify.
or what. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, it's twofold. It's like, one is it's always interesting to get a view or insight into a part of life and a part of our world and part of society that we're generally not privy to, but it's also very unusual to get one that is so singular and vivid. So for me to sit there as a straight white male and see this experience and kind of understand how deep and how layered it is, and how that's why I said to you guys earlier, I think I need to see it 9 more times, because there's that. If I'm already kind of fluent with that, then I'm right there with. There is so much to unpack for someone like me, and I find I just love to learn. I love to have the opportunity to learn, but to learn through art and beauty and music and heartbreak and all of these things in such a compact amount and utterly brief amount of time was kind of revelatory for me. So I mean, to just have some, for me, it was just a little thin slice insight into that world, and I want to learn more about it. I mean, for me, that's kind of what life is about, right? It's just a kind of stepping into. I mean, I suppose it triggers empathy in a way, and I don't mean empathy like pity or sadness. I mean empathy in the sense that, like, oh, I really get to feel for a second what that experience is, and I get to not only leave with that experience, I get to leave with that experience and then grow it a bit. And that's the thing that I think is really fascinating, and I think that's the thing that Michael R. Jackson's gotten so beautifully right about this. If I may be so bold to say what would be right or wrong, I don't even know. But I just found it to be just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I was so moved by every piece of it.
What you got?
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
Blockbuster superstar. Amazing family. From the outside, it might seem like you have it all. but you're human at the end of the day. So what does a bad or an annoying day look like for Ryan Reynolds?
What does a bad or annoying day look like? I mean, I have a real propensity to bite off more than I can chew. I find that there's not nearly the hours in the day I'd like.
Same.
So a bad or annoying day looks like I've committed to doing something and I haven't done it with full-throated ease. I've done it in a way that's kind of a little half-assed. That's a very annoying day for me. It could be anything. It could be even just like being totally preoccupied walking my kids to school. That's lame.
Yeah.
And then it might be that I promised myself I would write 7 pages of a script that that I have to shoot in 6 or 7 months or rewrite 7, and I just didn't get there. I got all distracted by social media or whatever. It's just that's a pretty annoying day. I mean,
You know what? I don't think I realized that how much you write. Like, so you're writing a lot. You've set goals for yourself each day, and you've got your hand in a bunch of different movies that you're writing.
Yeah, well, I don't look at myself as a like a thespian in that traditional sense. I work with persona a little bit more, and the guys I grew up watching were Steve Martins of the world, and
Right.
John Candy, and so I to sort of put that on screen, you have to write. I hate writing, by the way. I don't like it. There's no part of me that likes it.
It's hard.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. It feels great. Everything feels impossible until you're done, right? I mean, that's like the kind of way it is.
I agree.
I think you can. I think you can ask this question, and then so we've blown past the 5 questions. I think ask that question because I think it's fun.
That's true. Hi, Ryan Reynolds.
Hello.
Where did you just learn to be so charming?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Wow.
No, you are a very charming person, and charm is it's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
But you're charming, and you know how to engage people, and I think that's a gift, and you like people. It seems. I mean, I could be making this up.
I absolutely love people, and I love this great green spinning shit wheel we're all hurtling through space on as well.
But where did you pick that up? Have you always been that person?
I don't know. I mean, I think I think about this as a parent a lot. Like I don't know how you guys grew up. I wouldn't propose a scenario or venture to guess, but as a kid, I was extremely sensitive. I sort of think of myself as like a skin-covered antenna. I was like sort of taking in too much all the time, and I think as a self-defense mechanism, this is also where great art comes from. I bet this is a lot of where A Strange Loop comes from. Feeling a little like you're not entirely in control of your own safety and your own destiny, and I think you start to get very, very sensitive and perceptive and start to learn how to like diffuse threats as they come in. And that's, I think, what that is a way to sort of, that's the foundations in the layer cake that is a personality. Some of it is self-defense mechanism, and some of it is optimizing that self-defense mechanism for for work and relationships and trying to grow. But I think like I used my 20s better than I give credit for. I think I used my 20s, and I would certainly say my early to mid 30s, where I made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I made a lot of, and none of that was, fortunately, none of that was, on camera phones like it would be now. But I made a lot of those mistakes, and I reflected on them the right way. I think the right way, and I used them to kind of get better. And I think that whatever you might interpret as charming, I sort of interpret as curiosity or or playfulness. I love to play. I mean, play is like the best thing on earth. I mean, we all get to do it. The 3 of us get to do this for a living,
that's true.
And I don't know. I think I guess that's my stupid answer.
No,
it's a smart question.
It's
Apologies,
wonderful.
but
It's wonderful.
We want to play a quick game if possible.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the first thing that comes to your mind, really.
Are we playing my new game?
No, we do not have time for your.
No, we do, and it's great. It's great.
It is my least favorite game.
He doesn't like this game, but I just play it.
Why,
with,
James? Why don't you like this?
Because the other game is better.
Well, let me tell you what. Because the name of the game is Stinky Mouth, Sloppy Mouth. And that's why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, that's so weird. That's the name of my memoir.
Chapter 7.
Spoiler alert.
All right. So this is a choice game. Okay. So you have to do a passionate kiss with a very perfectly wonderful, nice co-star. But option A, they have a slightly stinky mouth. Maybe they enjoyed the tuna fish at craft services a little bit too much. Or B, they're very nice, fresh breath, but they just have a lot of excessive saliva. So their mouth's a little sloppy. So, Ryan Reynolds, are you kissing A, the stinky mouth, or B, the sloppy mouth? What is your choice?
Well, wow. This is just, James, I've never empathized with you as much as I am right now. God, am I taking
so much better.
The stinky mouth or the sloppy mouth? Well, I guess I'm going to take because like a kiss shouldn't also be a beverage. So I'm going to say especially a screen kiss, right? Like this is a screen kiss has to look amazing. But let's also call it what it is. It's a business transaction.
It's a business transaction.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with I guess I'm gonna go with the stinky mouth because I'm not ready to. I've got my own saliva, and that's all I need. I don't want anyone else's. We're good.
I believe that satisfies Jam's
desire. This is the best game in the world. Thank you for playing.
Here's the actual best game.
It's not. Game, I promise you.
Thank you. The actual best game is called Pick-a-Pair-of-Patties. The directions are actually in the title, where you just pick a pair of patties.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a scenario.
Patty Chapsky.
Always an
Patti
excellent Patty.
Oh,
she is involved. So your scenario is a bank robbery. You have to do a bank heist. You need to pick a pair of patties. It's in the title. Your patties to choose from are Patti LuPone, Patti LaBelle, and Broadway's Patti Murin. She was in Frozen. She is a Disney princess. She's very sweet. But you need to choose someone to be the heavy, someone to do the give me all your money, and then someone to drive the getaway car. You have Patti LuPone, Patti LaBelle, and Broadway's Patti Murin. If you could please, in seconds, pick.
Oh my God! I'm so punching above my weight class here.
No,
I'm
not
gonna
at
go
all.
with. I'm gonna.
There is no wrong answer.
I'm gonna go with. I saw Patti LuPone just on Broadway. Rip someone about 47 new assholes for their cell phone. So I'm gonna go into the bank with her. She's gonna take care of the safe, and then Patti LaBelle's gonna be in the car. I feel like she's gonna have no problem just turning those coppers into human speed bumps with me.
So you have chosen the same two that Jam has chosen.
Right? Oh, really?
Yes. So
I would like to know. I would like to know, Jam, why you chose the same.
Well, I think Patti LuPone probably wouldn't even have to say anything. She would just walk into the bank and people would just throw their money at her, because they're like, she's going to do something to me. And I think Patti LaBelle just has a heavy foot.
Wow.
So she would be, when she does her concert, she takes her shoes off and have you ever seen she takes her shoes off
because she has a heavy foot?
So I think it's because she'll have a heavy foot on the gas.
I'm gonna
what and what's we can't throw like peppermint patty in here or a few other patties at some point. I don't know.
Sure, we can.
I think we can.
Patty Considine. Who else is there? Other patties. We have other patties. Patty.
I wanted to find a way to get Trisha Yearwood involved because I believe that Trisha Yearwood is technically a Patricia Yearwood.
Wow.
Then I have a tendency to go too far. So
James with the asterisks. Wow, that was like it.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, Ryan Reynolds, that is pretty much our show. And so we usually end with one wish for the audience. And why do we end with one wish, James?
We give people one wish because genies give people 3, and I don't like genies.
No, me neither.
So
me neither.
We give
when I was a kid, Jeannie Mitziadis, I had a huge crush on her, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Have you seen her since?
Girl.
Do you know where she is?
I have not. Although I gotta say, I'm pretty in touch with some of the people that I grew up with. A lot of people that I grew up with. But I have not seen Jeannie Mitziadis. No, she was very cute though.
Jeannie Mitziadis.
Yeah. Hi, Jeannie, if you're watching.
Do you have one wish for people this week, Jim?
I do. My wish for people this week is to be bold, be a little bit brave, ask a question that might scare you, do something that you might think you're not capable or ready or whatever to do. But be a little brave, be a little bold, and try something.
Wow.
Mine is, I'm going to steal from you, Mr. Reynolds. I am going to learn how to say I don't know. That's a hard one for me. I'm going to learn how to say.
You guys have such beautiful answers. Now I have to say something. Okay, my wish is that somebody take someone's life with your hands. No, I'm going to say. I'm going to say. Again. I really, I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really hope and wish as many people as humanly possible who can fit inside that theater get to, like I said earlier, witness. I love that. I want to witness my own kids. I really want people to witness A Strange Loop. I want them to witness your performances. I think it's transformative for people to see. I think it's one of the most important pieces of art that exist on the Broadway stage right now. And so I hope as many people as humanly possible go see this beautiful piece of work and the work that you guys have put into it, because I know I have many friends that are on stage and on Broadway, and that is what you guys put out from just a physical aspect is not easy, and yeah, I can't even imagine the kind of slumber that you guys go into when you finally get home, especially after those 2 show days. So I genuinely wish for as many people as possible. I don't care where you are, whether you're flying in from Europe or the West Coast, or just get to this piece of work and see A Strange Loop as soon as humanly possible. It's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So.
Thank you.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds, what a joy, what a delight.
Thank you guys for having me on your amazing podcast.
Well, thank you for saying yes. You know, you're Ryan Reynolds. You didn't have to.
We were very
No, I don't. I will say this. I say no to almost every podcast, but I was thrilled to come here and be on yours. So.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Mostly because I just wanted to hang out with you guys. I was too chicken and starstruck to go backstage after
Well, that's why you have to come back. That's why you have to come back and see us before we close on the 15th.
Yes, I will definitely do that. That much I can do. I promise.
We will be there. We'll take you to the Lambs Club afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Take me out for a drink. I need one.
We will.
All right. Ryan Reynolds, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. What a joy. Thank you for coming and playing on 5 Questions with James and Jam. And you have a brilliant rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.